Pro Bowl level, but of course he has not been on the field that much. We saw that last season there in New Orleans. All right, how about the top receivers? We can argue that Allen Robinson, he cracked the top 10. He's a wide receiver one in Chicago. You don't know what he can do elsewhere, but then you got Christian Kirk, OBJ, Juju Smith-Schuster also in the top 50 for you.
Yeah, Allen Robinson is an interesting case, right? Because he just basically disappeared. He's never played with a good quarterback. It just has never happened. Or like hasn't. Maybe Justin Fields, who's a rookie. Not that he's a bad quarterback. Just that he's never gotten to play with a good veteran quarterback. I hope he finds QB happiness somewhere out there. I mean, look at this: Bortles, Trubisky, Foles, Daniel Dalton. I guess he didn't even catch one from Justin Fields. The Bears were just it was a rough year for the Bears, and Allen Robinson it seemed like he just wanted to get out of Chicago. They're letting him hit the market is a huge boost for him. He should see a pretty good interest from teams out there. As far as Christian Kirk and the other guys go, OBJ is interesting mainly because of the ACL he suffered in the Super Bowl. It stands to reason, I think, that the Rams will try and do right by him and give him some kind of one-year deal with incentives, postseason incentives, et cetera, et cetera. That way he can really boost it up when he's able to come back. And he's also not forced to rush his rehab. He said he would take a discount to stay in LA already, so that would make a lot of sense. MVS, Marcus Valdes-Scantling. Very curious to see if the Packers try and make Aaron Rodgers happier by bringing back another wide receiver of his in MVS. He is the deep threat for that team, and it's taken a while. Like he went to multiple schools. I think South Florida. He was definitely at NC State for a while, and then transferred to South Florida. And it's just sort of taken a while to get his career going. But it looks like a guy who may be able to take a leap here, depending on where he lands. Christian Kirk, I would say, it's a tricky spot because with this market and with these receivers out there, he could very well command number one receiver money or land in a spot where he is the number one receiver. I'm just not sure if he's exactly ready for that. We saw him when DeAndre Hopkins went down. You thought he might just explode, and that just wasn't the case.
I want to take a look at Dallas and look at those receivers again because they have two in the top 100 there. We just saw Michael Gallup. We know he's dealing with that ACL. There's reports that they may be working a deal to keep him in Dallas. Cedric Wilson, when Gallup was down, was taken over as that number 3 wide receiver and it shined a little bit. If you're the Cowboys, and right now you just got CeeDee Lamb because we heard all the news about Amari Cooper during the combine. If you're Dallas, you might want to try to keep one or two of these guys here. Are you thinking, Will?
Yeah, so the deal with Amari Cooper, when they signed him to that deal, they were really like setting it up for this offseason where they could give Michael Gallup a big contract, they would have CeeDee Lamb, and then they would be able to release Amari Cooper and move on from him. And I think that's probably what's going to end up happening is they'll ink Michael Gallup to I don't know if it'll be a huge deal, it'll probably be more of a prove-it deal, and Gallup's mentioned that he would be willing to take that. Perfect world, they'd love to have all three back and on the field, but with Dalton Schultz on the franchise tag and Cooper's inflated cap number, I think it stands to reason that we'll end up seeing Gallup coming back and Cooper, Cooper going elsewhere. Man, you know what? I mean, I sort of joked about this on the podcast, but I mean, if the Packers really want to make Aaron Rodgers happy, go get him Amari Cooper, right? And compare Amari Cooper with Devontae Adams, and then you just unleash that on an NFC that is increasingingly weakened.
I mean, or they could just pass on another receiver option in the draft, and that would also always make
draft a quarterback. Draft another quarterback in the first round. That'll go over well.
It worked out, back-to-back MVPs, right? So
yes, technically it did. I do like that galaxy brain argument though. It's like it made Aaron Rodgers so angry that the pick was actually worth it. Because maybe he wouldn't have played as well if they just drafted a receiver.
Just draft a kicker or a punter or something. We'll see what happens this time of year. Maybe a three-peat. All right, hold on, Will, for a second. We got more on the other side. Don't forget, you can catch the guys' fantasy football today, always breaking it down. They have a tight end preview going on right now. Where can Gronkowski, Ertz, all the top available tight ends land in 2022? Also, March 21st, they got a